Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 103. Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth, and Fresh West. Another big week of college basketball, which we'll get into tonight. Some interesting things in the NFL. So it should be a fun, entertaining podcast tonight. And we got another cool top five at the end for you. So if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like. Listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor. Thanks for listening. Enjoy any comments, anything you guys have to let us know you want to hear about, especially as we get into top fives. So I'd love to hear some of that. So let's jump right into trivia has been one of our more popular segments. So let's talk a little trivia here. And so Big Smooth, lead us off. What do you got?
Okay, so going off of last week's where it was top performances for a tournament, this is all-time top 5 points scored leaders in March Madness history.
Lou Alcindor.
Nope.
No.
I know, isn't that weird? You
That's
would think
crazy
so.
because he averaged like 20 some points a game. At least a couple tournaments. I don't know about all of them, but that's a crazy one. Havlicek.
Nope.
Um, Glenn Rice.
Yep, he's number 5.
Oh God.
In 13 games, he had 308 points.
Wow.
So you have one that's from, I'll give you the years for these two because they're a little harder. 1957 to 1960. And the other is 1965 to 1968.
There's a guy from Notre Dame. I think that's on there from 1960.
No,
No, there's not.
these two are
All right,
NBA
then.
Hall of Famers, so they also were good in the NBA.
In 57, you said, and
Yeah. 65 to 68 and 57 to 60.
Moses Malone.
No, because I don't think he played that long in college, if he did at all.
Oh yeah, maybe not.
Danny
He
Manning.
would have been late
Danny Manning.
70s.
Is Danny Manning?
Yes, Danny Manning is number 3 with 328 points in 16 games.
Yeah, we had him last trivia on the
Yeah, I think we
tournament,
had
so that
that
one
one.
makes sense. There's another one from the 80s.
Yep. Number 1.
From the 80s, number one.
Uh,
Hmm.
Danny Manning.
No, I mean,
it's
wait a minute. From the 80s,
80s and 90s.
and this is all time. This is not one
Yeah.
year, multiple years.
Yeah. So just think someone who might have played a million games. Yes.
Christian Laettner, right?
He's number 1, 23 games, 407 points. Glenn Rice, 13 games, 308. So Christian Laettner has 99 more points and 10 more games.
Right.
So now you just got the 2 older ones.
Oh man.
One of the older ones was in the top 10 from last week.
Elgin Baylor?
No, I don't think Elgin Baylor was in the top 10.
I don't know. You got to be nobody from UCLA.
He was from Houston.
Hayes, Elvin Hayes.
Elvin Hayes.
Oh yeah, we said him last week.
Yeah.
And then you got missing number 4, who has 10 games, 340 points. So he averaged 34 points a game.
Jeez.
From 1957 to 1960.
1857.
Think all-time greats.
Jerry West?
Not Jerry West.
Oscar Robinson?
Yes, Oscar Robertson.
Big That's what I was gonna say first. Should have just said him.
He averaged 34 points a game.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, I mean those are all like you can get those if you really think about it.
Jerry West wasn't.
none of the top five. But you got to think how many games these guys played too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and
Glenn
it's
Rice, Danny Manning, and Danny Manning had 16 games, but he did most of his in one season. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's also about how deep they go in tournaments too,
Right.
because you got guys that were the leading all-time scorers in college history or for their teams respectively, but they just weren't going deep in tournaments.
Right. I mean, that's why Christian Leitner's number one. They went
Right.
deep every year.
Yeah. Yeah, probably half of his team was on there for like top 50.
Probably.
There'll be a lot of Duke players in there in that era. That's a good one. I was watching a trivia here, so I won't do the whole trivia, but this one was interesting. So thinking about running backs that played for Alabama, right? Alabama
Mhm.
running graduated from Alabama. To make it clear, or finished their career at Alabama, even if they went
Okay.
out early. Recent guys, and recent I mean maybe last 20 years or so, that have went over 1,000 yards in scrimmage, at least 1,000 yards of scrimmage. Could be running, could be passing. Obviously, they're running back, so a lot of it's going to be running. But
Well,
there's
there's one,
10
10.
guys on this list.
And how last what? How many years?
20 years, give or take. Is not going way back, right?
Okay. I mean, there's some that are pretty easy.
Right.
Wes, do you want to go first? Since
Yeah, you go first. I don't know.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Um,
One was just a
Josh,
Raider.
Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs.
Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs.
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake made the list. Let me pull up this list while you guys are guessing.
Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy,
Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram. That's
Um,
almost the top five outside Kenyon Drake. There's one more in the top five that's pretty hard. This guy was actually third overall among these in total scrimmage yards, which is
What
crazy.
about Trent Richardson?
Trent Richardson.
because it's like rookie year, right? And then
Yeah, he had that huge
And then
year.
Sean Alexander.
yeah, that's
And
not the last
he's the cutoff though. Where
Right.
he's a little too old for the list.
Oh, okay. That's in the 90s.
Oh, I'm trying to think here.
So
I know some.
you got the bottom row here.
TJ Yeldon.
TJ Yeldon.
Oh wow, I didn't think he would have. Must have been with the Jags.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Last 20 years.
Well, most of these guys are still prominent now, right now.
Yeah, I'm just blank. Right, I got to think. Um,
One's a Steeler,
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
Oh,
There's only two more left.
Trying to go through the teams here. Um, uh, one just retire.
These two. Well, he's definitely still playing, and he's definitely still playing.
Okay. I was thinking about the running back that was with the Patriots for a long time, just retired.
Well, he's with the Patriots. I don't think he retired. He's still with the Patriots.
whoa.
Harris?
Damian Harris.
He retired.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just retired like yesterday.
Quitting it early, huh?
Damien Harris.
Yeah, Damian Harris, 1,162 yards. Or no, 1101. And the last one's Brian Robinson.
Oh,
What year was he? Brian Robinson?
yeah, from the Commanders.
Commanders, yeah. He's kind of recent, right? Because he's only
Yeah,
been in the
had to
league
be. I mean,
5 years, if that.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a weird one. That was kind of hard.
But I mean, yeah, you think about it, it's a lot of Alabama running backs.
well, he's only 25, so we're probably talking the 2022 and draft.
Right. Because well then he was out of season, right? Because he got shot.
Yeah. Was there any other running backs in here?
I mean,
Oh,
technically we did this year, I think Gibbs would qualify.
oh yeah.
Didn't he barely hit 1,000?
We should. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Like I was trying they did the trivia a little different. We can't do it with our screen share, but I was looking at it, I was like, man, that's tough.
Well, is it the one where they give you the year and like boxes and stuff or
They
something?
just gave the yards.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So that was tough. But you had all the players too, so made it a little easier.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little NFL first, because then we'll get into the tournament. I mean, obviously the big talk in the league then the last couple of days is the tackling rule.
Flag football rule.
The tackling rule. So what do you guys think of this new what do they call it, the
Hip drop.
hip drop? That's what they call it, the hip drop.
Well, that's what they showed. They showed the picture of Mike Jones tackling was it Dyson?
Yeah.
You know, in the Super Bowl, Tennessee and the Rams.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, and here we go, 15-yard penalty on the Rams, first down for the Titans.
That's
Half the
true.
distance to the goal.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. What was it? That's what I don't understand. Because I saw maybe they had 10 or 11 examples on ESPN. And a lot of these guys, they're going past them and they have no other, it's like they're chasing them from behind. It's like kind of like a horse collar, but not. But what else are they supposed to do? I guess they're just supposed to trip them, right? So they're going to ban that. Can't.
Well, that's almost worse jumping when they dive at the back of their legs.
Yeah.
They're going to have in the grasp for all players now.
No.
Yeah, I don't see how you, from certain angles, I don't see how you can take someone down outside of maybe like grabbing them by the shoulders and throwing them down.
You know what? Just put it. It's like pin the tail on the donkey. Put a big like a tail on these guys, and that's the only way you can take them down. Like grab.
Do you
them
imagine what's going to happen if these games go and you have like a defensive stand and they call that play?
Oh yeah,
they call that. Yeah.
happen.
Well, you know who's going to be the benefit of it the most? The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
They're never going to have a fourth down. Every third down is like hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
So I was watching and reading the article where the Players Association, because basically it was NFL against the Players Association for this rule. And the Players Association, they said, well, even though the rule says 15 yards in game, they're going to treat it at least the first year like helmet to helmet contact. And it'll mostly be reviewed off week, right after games. And they're just going to throw out a bunch of fines, which great for the NFL, right? They're just there to collect a bunch of money. And so they're going to be going watching tape of all the games, being like, "Oh, there's 15 grand, there's 25 grand, there's 50 grand."
Well, as long as it doesn't affect the games.
Yeah, I mean it will obviously at certain points. Like you can't not like it's gonna come up in games, right? it's like helmet to helmet, comes up in games, and it does definitely affects games, but more helmet to helmet fines and suspensions and penalties are given out off week.
Right. Remember when they were supposed to be doing it for running backs, putting their helmet down, and they don't really ever do that?
Right. Or a quarterback, they can put their helmet down all they want, but you can't tackle them.
Well, and that's the other thing. It's like I've seen so many times Mahomes get out of a sack. But what are you supposed to do if they can get out of what happened in the grasp,
Right.
right? That's what they need to bring back. I shouldn't be able to have Mahomes almost be tackled, get out of it, and then throw a 30-yard pass. Because God forbid if I would put my weight on him and tackle him, it'd be a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is when you have no momentum going and you get a hold of somebody and you're 100 pounds heavier than them, the only option you have is to throw them on the ground, right? You can't
Right.
tackle them at that point because you have no speed. So if they do that, that's a penalty, right? They're going to call a penalty
Yep.
on you for slamming the quarterback down. Or if you do have the speed and then you land on them, they're going to call it putting your weight on them. Or if you hit them low, they're going to call it, a low hit.
If you go
So
high, it's too high of a hit.
it's to the helmet, right? So quarterbacks, you already can't tackle.
Yeah, the can't put your weight on them is the dumbest rule.
Right.
I mean, how many people get injured from having someone's weight go on them?
Yeah, I mean, not as many, I would think, right? But again, they're trying to protect quarterbacks, so they should just put flags on the quarterbacks. Bring out the red jersey. You guys already use it in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Put the red jersey on all the quarterbacks.
Well, then you couldn't have running quarterbacks. You can't do tush push or whatever either
Yeah, no,
because
that would be okay because that's points in offense.
I think it's kind of what's gonna happen. I mean, they want to make flag football a thing anyways. It's gonna be in the Olympics. Everyone's now you got girls flag football that's off the charts. That's basically what they want. So why not just do it? I don't even how are you supposed to tackle anybody anymore? Like you can't go for the ankles, you can't go for the knees, you can't go for the shoulders because you got horse collar. You can't go for the head. You go for the waist. I mean, what are we supposed to supposed to dance or something? Like,
Yeah.
it's like that's it's almost impossible to tackle somebody and
If you're not in front of them, like
yeah, you have to be in front of them.
doing a regular form tackle,
Yeah,
it almost seems like there is no way to tackle.
there's no way you can't get behind him because all those examples I saw, they were behind the guy. They had no other
Or behind to the
but to
side.
jump on the guy to
Right.
get him down.
Yeah, it's a rough one, and it's interesting that how much player backlash that you've seen,
Oh yeah.
and even current players. Like you get a lot of analysts and a lot of the shows, and former players are of course speaking up. It's like, well, you're not playing anymore, so you go ahead and speak all you want. But like current players, a lot of X comments and things like that coming out and saying, hey, what are we doing here?
right.
Like we know what we're getting into. And so that's I don't know. The problem I have with rules like this is like what you said the first time, is that it's going to affect outcomes of games. And that's where you start to ruin the experience of the game, the players, the fans. Like protection. We're trying to keep people from getting injured, but why even play, at that point if this is what's going to happen?
Too much power in the umpire ref's hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because now it's just like, are they going to review these calls?
Which is going to take more time.
Or what if the ref calls it and you want to challenge it, like then what happens?
They need to because this is going to be an easy way to change outcomes of games.
Right. Oh yeah, guy gets tackled short of the first down, and just the example you gave, right? And they just that was a hip drop.
Yep.
So that was one of the big ones. Um, I don't know. It's a little disappointing. I get player safety, and we all want the players to play a long time and make millions of dollars. That's great, but it's for me, it's that known risk type of thing, right? You signed up for this. This is
That's
your
why you
job,
make millions of dollars.
right? And if you don't want to take the chance of getting injured, go play soccer. It's
Yeah.
and
What other place can you retire at 26 with like $20 million?
right. So this one's been kind of rough, but there's a lot of
I I felt mad. I couldn't believe I didn't understand, and I started listening, and I was pissed. I was like, this is stupid. Then I watched the videos. I go, get it, but still, there's nothing you can do. You're right. You signed up for it. You signed the contract. This is what it is. You know, you can't just make everything safe. This isn't a safe space. This is a football field. Things happen. Things go down. You know, dudes
that's
get
the
carted
sport.
off. It's what it is. This is what you sign up for. You know, there's a lot of hard jobs out there that are more dangerous, actually. And there's not much you can do.
Did you so I thought this one was a joke, but I seen on ESPN now the kickoff revamp too.
Yeah, I saw it. It's XFL.
Right. So it's like what they do in the XFL. Like I thought the guy who was like doing a video on it was joking, but now I'm reading this and so it hasn't passed the vote yet, but it's like be eligible for vote now.
Oh, it didn't pass the vote. The
Well, the
owners didn't.
proposal did, and now
Yeah,
it needs to be approved by 24 owners.
Well,
it's like Congress.
there was only three teams that descended from it, and that was the Raiders, Packers, and 49ers.
Right.
Are the only teams that said no to it.
Yeah,
So this is crazy. So they're gonna line up, right, to kick the ball. The kicker's way back on his
yeah.
35-yard line. The other two teams line up 5 yards away from me or 10 yards away from each other, or 5 yards.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 5 to 10 yards there. And then there's two returners like less than 20 yards behind that. So there's no running starts anymore.
No, but there's no fair catches anymore because you don't have the. I mean, they can't run until they catch the ball.
Right, right. So you can't,
That's
yeah,
why it's
nobody can move until the ball's caught either.
yeah. So they'll
And then
try.
the touchback is the 30-yard line.
Right. And they move the touchback up as well. So basically, there's going to be a lot of touchbacks anyway.
Oh yeah, yes. It's
So
just
why even kick it
I
off
even
at this
kick the
point?
I even kick the ball.
And
They're
how do
gonna
you do
get
an
to that.
onside kick?
You don't.
You
It's
don't.
eliminated the surprise onside kick.
That's the problem.
What about
That's
the needed at the end of the game onside kick?
Then I think they'll do some like thing where you can do that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not a surprise. So you can't have like what the Saints did in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's nuts, man.
yeah. It's they eventually it will go through their heads like, yeah, let's stop kicking the ball off.
Well, that's
Like,
what I'm saying. Why even kick it off, right? If the other
yep.
team scores, you get it at the 30 or 25, wherever you want to give it to them, and just
Yeah.
start from there. That would save a bunch of time, right? And then eliminate the teams out for the field goals and extra points. Just have the kicker out there kick them by himself, right? So you don't even need a special teams anymore. We get rid of all the special teams. All you need is a kicker.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean, does this not seem like
Well,
the
what do you do
next
with
step?
punts?
There is no more punting.
You have to go for it always on fourth down.
No, if you say we give up, and then they put the ball back on your 20, and you get the ball. We're going to give all of them a little white flag that they're going to carry around. And on fourth down, they're going to be like, we wave the white flag, and the other team gets the ball on the 20.
Well, you have to do something different because what if you're on your own too? You're like, sweet, you can have it on your 20.
Right.
No, just what you do is you do it like we did, playing pickup ball. We do a throw off. The only difference is you have like some little kid that has to catch the ball. And if he drops it, then it's like 20 yards up. And if he catches it, they get the ball there.
Right. And
like
they
I mean, it's gonna get that ridiculous.
it is that ridiculous almost.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know. The kickoff to me seems like that's just the next step in eliminating it. That just seems like that's your end game. You don't want to like make everybody mad all at once, so you're just doing it in slow steps.
Well, this might also make Devin Hester obsolete now, and because someone else will break all his records because they don't have people running at him full speed anymore.
And well, they showed one XFL play, and they did it was the Battle Hawks, probably my favorite XFL team, and they did a reverse on the kickoff. And I was like, there's no way that's going to work. And ran all the way back for a touchdown.
Well, because look, you don't have any speed, right? Because you're instantly locked up with someone else. And then you start moving laterally one way and you're still getting started and the other guy's coming full speed the other way.
Yeah. It's weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you get someone on the outside who can get the corner set and so they're blocked, then you just run up the corner and no one's going to get to you.
Right.
The kickers are going to be the ones that have to learn how to tackle.
Can you imagine how many times
by himself?
Dude, the kicker's gonna be isolated out in the middle of the field by himself, dude. And then they're just gonna be all over Sports Center, dude, just like watching the kickers fall on their faces and
kickers
are gonna get hurt. The kickers? This is not safe for the kickers.
Right.
The ones that can't take hits, too.
Yeah, nobody cares about the kickers.
And one time someone's just gonna there's gonna be all there is the kicker, and some dude's just gonna truck the kicker. Like he thinks I'm gonna run around. No, he's just gonna truck him and go for a touchdown.
Oh, the kickers are gonna be brutalized. They're gonna be faked. Yeah. They're gonna be juked out of their shoes. They're gonna be ran right by them. They're gonna be ran over. Like you're gonna watch them like take bad angles to the sideline to try to catch the guy. But the reality is that what's the NFL team going to do now is you're just going to get a guy with a huge leg and he's going to bomb it out the back of the end zone every time.
Yeah, which is going to suck. What's the point of doing anything anyways?
Right.
You're just got more touchbacks. So
it's a big waste of time, right? Trade deadline moved back to week 9. I don't know why there's a trade deadline at all. So I'm not really mad about that. I think those are the big ones. And then obviously, free agency draft, we've been talking a lot about this. We don't spend a lot of time on it, but I've now heard this multiple times, multiple sources. JJ McCarthy #2 overall.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say he would be moving on up?
Dude.
It's perfect for the Raiders.
If you're the Commanders, are you really taking JJ McCarthy at #2?
Jim Harbaugh says he's the best.
That's tough.
It is tough. I mean, if you're the Commanders, on one hand, you really have nothing to lose because you're the Commanders. I mean, if he's that good, why wouldn't you take him? On the other hand, you are the Commanders and you'll somehow screw it up because you're the Commanders. So I still think that someone's going to want to trade up to get him. It's probably the Vikings.
But that's if he falls to 4.
That's false 4, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to get him at 2.
Except the
Apparently the
Commanders.
Commanders do.
Dude, they had him he had him going to Arizona at 4.
No, they just gave Murray like a extension.
Yeah. Arizona.
Arizona's either trading out or they're taking Marvis and Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty a lock, right? I don't know. You never know with this class, right? Because now I don't know if you've seen this, but everybody's talking bad about Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
because his dad told him, he was like, look, take the time off. Like, you don't need to go. And well, they agreed on it. You don't need to go do the combines and the pro days and all this stuff. He's like, you're better rested to come into camp, right? Than to do all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind that. The one that bugs me, though, is Brock Bowers. Because he never went out there and wowed him with the 4, you know what I mean?
Right.
He didn't do his pro day. He didn't even. So you don't know what you're really getting from Brock Bowers. You know what I mean? Because it's a tight end. You need to know his measurements. You need to know how fast he is.
I mean, he's definitely the number 1 tight end, right? So there's no question.
Oh, easy. But
Easy.
if he would have done his pro day and knocked it out of the park,
right.
he'd probably be easily top 10. Right now, I've been seeing mocks where he's like going 20.
Yeah, 20. I've seen low 20s as
But
well.
like if he would have done it and ran like a 4.40 or something, dude would have ball. See, for him, so Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go, I think, before 6 at least. So it doesn't really matter that he doesn't. But like if Brock Bowers it would have behooved him to do it.
Right.
We already said that the top 3 quarterbacks didn't need to do it. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't need to do it. Neighbors doesn't need to do it.
Because if he would have ran and you have those picks like it, I mean, even Arizona at 4, and then you have the Chargers. The Chargers could use him. And heck, even the Giants at 6. I mean, Daniel Jones. I mean, you're going to give up on Daniel Jones that easy? You can get Brock Bowers. He needs a security blanket. Brock Bowers is perfect. Instead of going out and getting a brand new quarterback.
Maybe Bowers wants to slip back to a competitor.
Yeah.
He wants to.
He's like, I'm shooting for a playoff team.
I want to replace Travis Kelce.
Oh, God. Can you imagine that if he fell to the Chiefs?
Oh, gosh. No, what would happen is we'd be like, we're announcing a trade. The Chiefs are trading up to number 15 and taking Brock Bowers.
Exactly. Any team that trades with the Chiefs it's like whenever anyone you don't trade with the Patriots, don't trade with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather.
He definitely hurt himself, I think, there as well, and that hurts in your pocketbook too when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you drop out of the top 10, you start losing quite a bit of money.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought JJ was an interesting one. I thought that's kind of interested to see how that plays out now.
I hope that's true because then the Raiders could trade up to 4 for Daniels.
Right. Well, and he's getting badmouthed as well a little bit. They're talking about his poor play in the Pac-12.
Yeah. You're talking about
as a freshman.
Arizona State game.
He played 3 years there, right?
Yeah. And he did.
But he was hurt for one of them, and then he was recovering for the third, right? So he played like the full year, and then like maybe half a year, got hurt.
Yeah.
And came back the third year, but he was still not 100%.
But it was ASU too.
Right. And it's Arizona. They're so dysfunctional. And that's why he left. It's like you saw the talent at Arizona State. I was like, this guy's good. It's just he's on a bad team. And, he doesn't have the weapons as a receivers. He's doing everything himself.
And this is the season time of year where, teams are going to badmouth these guys because they want them to fall to them.
Right.
I mean,
it's all the fake news coming out, right? It's the media machine.
I saw a mock that the Raiders that Penix falls the 33rd,
Yeah,
like the
where
33rd.
first pick of the second round, they
Yeah,
trade up and got him. Yeah, I saw that. That could happen. I've seen now
that could happen.
Knicks and Penix dropping.
Yeah, Penix I think has fallen the most of all of those quarterbacks.
See, if I'm the Raiders, take best player available at 13, then try and trade back into the first and try and get Penix there.
Yeah.
That's the cheapest way you're going to get your quarterback, unless you just are like scared and just take him at 13.
Well, maybe Pierce is playing mind games, but he's like, I expect O'Connell and Minshew to be playing for the starting position regardless of who we draft.
Yeah. But that's what anybody really, I mean, is like, oh, we want an open competition so we could see who the best player. We only want to
Right.
have the best players
Well,
play.
he was alluding though that the pick wouldn't be looked as a starter. He was alluding to if they picked a quarterback even, he wouldn't even be in the race, the hunt.
Oh,
So maybe he's planning on sitting whoever they pick anyway for
right.
a period of time, which is probably good for most of the quarterbacks in the draft outside of maybe Caleb Williams. I mean, even Drake May might be able to afford to sit.
Well, yeah, because Drake May, and no one, I haven't really heard anybody talk about Drake May. It's like he's not really, he's kind of in that third spot that he sold the Patriots. And if they Patriots pick him up, it's like, of course he's going to sit for a bit because they're not going to be good anyways.
Yeah.
You sit for a
That's
bit, and then play halfway through the season.
yeah, because it's like, yeah, like you said, don't get her in a hurry to start these guys. Look what Bryce Young. Wouldn't it have
Right.
been nice if they just sat? Well, that's the problem. Panthers didn't have a first round pick next, you know what I mean? So they were like, screw it, we have to be good. And they
Yeah.
sucked. But
Yeah, they didn't have much of a choice either. Um, what about Spencer Rattler and Jordan Travis?
Yeah, no one's really talking about Travis.
well,
I
he's
saw,
just cleared, right? Just got
Yeah,
cleared.
yeah, I saw him pop up now on some big boards.
yeah. I mean, that's a value pick right there.
That's a late steal, right? Like get
That's
him
a
maybe
late.
second or third.
Well,
If you don't get the guy you want, I think that's a value pick. I think you can get him in the third, maybe even a late second. You know,
I've been hearing a lot about Milton at
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Joe Milton.
yeah,
Yeah,
Milton's
I've
just
seen that too.
He's got
They're
a cannon.
they're talking about his arm strength in the comparatively to who all the rest in the combine, and I was surprised some of the names were up there though. Like Baker Mayfield is up there as far as fastest football thrown.
Huh.
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
Josh Allen, obviously, you expect a name like that, but
That
said Baker
25
was up there.
no, that 25-yard pass. I remember watching the Rose Bowl and Baker, yeah. Like 25 yards on a rope, he's good. It's
Yeah.
just anything outside of that, he's just average. But he gets set up and he throws that 25-yard rope.
Well,
I think it's
they test their miles per hour on the football, and like a 60, I guess, is they're all thrown in that 60 miles an hour. And Milton was, I think, second or third all time. But
Just
then you got to talk about like what else does he have, right? You got what it can he run an NFL offense and all those other things,
but he has legs too.
right?
He's a runner. But think about that. I know it's a football, but a baseball pitcher throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And you're like throwing a football 60.
yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty good considering, I mean, obviously a baseball, you can get your whole hand around it,
Right. Yeah.
you can
It's
get more
small. It's
force,
not as heavy.
like I always could throw a baseball way harder than I felt I could throw a football.
Right.
Like I could still throw a football far, but not with the velocity that you can throw. So yeah, 60 is impressive. That's fast. So that's let's jump out of football because we'll have a lot of time to talk about that. Let's get into tournament, the March Madness here. Uh so far been an interesting tournament, I think. A lot of
It's been kind of
unsuspected.
boring.
Huh? There's some of the games I've actually really liked watching. There's other games that have been really bad. It's, you know, I've watched almost every game.
Yeah, I've watched most of them at least like in the second halves or until it
Right.
got to be a blowout, things like that. Um yeah, it's been pretty good games, I think. The whole narrative of we need less of the automatic bids and more Big Five teams, like I think this tournament just kind of shot that in the foot.
Yeah, we don't. It to me, it's good the way it is. And people complain about, well, Connecticut's how they stack that bracket. That stuff happens. It's still the best tournament there is. To expand it, I think, is not a good idea at this point.
Well, I just don't want to see like teams like Grand Canyon not have a chance when
Right.
you know and Yale even, like Yale comes out, wins a game. Obviously didn't play great the second game, but Grand Canyon played a great first game, hung around in the second game for a while. That's the kind of teams, like that's what people root for, that, right? Everybody loves a Cinderella story in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Like if your team loses to Grand Canyon, guess what? Like you're Grand Canyon's new favorite fan, you're like,
Yeah.
I want them to go all the way and win.
Even Duquesne, then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I started rooting for Duquesne, and they just got slaughtered by Illinois. It's like,
Right.
gee.
Yeah, and you're not always going to get that team that makes it far, but even in the second round, it's fun to root for them, right? It's
Well,
really
you're
great when they go to the Sweet 16.
man, you're not even talking about Oakland.
Right. Dude, Oakland
That
was,
was my favorite game.
dude,
That was awesome.
that the finish to that game, I don't know if you watched that, but that was a great second half.
Yeah.
I mean, overtime obviously wasn't as fun to watch, but that second half, I mean, it's kind of the same as the Oregon Creighton game.
Yeah.
The way that game finished in the first half or the end of the game plus first overtime, like both of those were just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Oregon
mean,
just
it's been
ran out
fun
of
to watch in a
gas.
lot of those. Um, Bracket's real close still. So I got 400 points. Derek, you got 390, and Wes, you got 340.
I needed NC State to lose.
Dude, that would kill me.
I know.
Yeah.
I only have two of my final four still left, so and it's
Yeah.
my two that are in the championship game.
Yeah, mine too.
So
And I don't
Yeah,
have a lot.
if you guys definitely need NC State to lose, because if they keep winning, then it's going to be trouble. Because we probably all have UConn, right? At least going to the Final Four.
No, I don't.
no, I don't think West does.
I got
Oh,
Iowa State, which that was probably not a good idea because I don't think they could beat. I don't think they beat UConn right now.
Yeah, I got UConn and Purdue in my finals, so
One of my brackets, the other bracket, I had Marquette, UConn, and Creighton, but I had Marquette winning.
you had all three Big East in the final four. That's awesome.
But I have Marquette winning. Oh, and guess who my team is? The fourth team, the best team ever. Let me say something. I have New Mexico, but let me just say something about New Mexico, and I think this is why I picked them, and it's just the dumbest reason ever, because I don't think New Mexico's ever done anything in their since they became a state. I was like, this is the year they actually do something, and
I
that
hadn't
was
I had New Mexico going deep. They were playing quality basketball.
Oh
I
yeah,
had them in my Final Four, but Mashburn and House stunk up the game. Like
Right.
they played so bad.
and then Mashford's like, I'm going to transfer now. It's
Did he
like
say that?
he's transferred. He's in the portal.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
It's like,
like, oh,
dude,
I suck, so I'm
suck.
out to transfer. Yeah. What else is new?
And what's interesting is NC State is now the highest seed, right? I guess that
Well,
kind of then changes that argument back to, well, what if you put more Power Fives in these 11 through 16 seeds? Would you get more of that?
well, that's the thing too. The power, if you add Power Fives, yes, potentially that. I mean, like a St. John's or something, like,
Yeah.
or even an Indiana State.
Yeah.
It's like then an Indiana State gets in, which I think they should have been in. It's just they go the NIT and now they're like playing well in the NIT. So
But even like Louisville's an example I think of, like as a team that I don't feel like you ever want to play Louisville even when they're not having an up year, right? Because there's always going to be a ton of talent on that team.
yeah,
Yeah, but when we get stuff like this, we have to watch freaking Virginia.
Right.
Are you telling me that Virginia, that
Well,
game was a good game to watch, or would you rather at Indiana State in that game?
right. No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like then Virginia comes out and gets just whacked by Colorado State, in that playing game. And so it does go both ways, but I think this year it sucked not to have one of those high seeds that was kind of what people wouldn't recognize as a team into the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
I
you're
would
right.
have. It doesn't matter who it was. I would have liked one of them. Oakland, Duquesne, Grand Canyon,
I
Yale.
really
Like,
wanted Grand Canyon,
dude,
dude.
I want a Grand Canyon bad.
Dude,
I
that
think
kid,
James Madison had a chance too, but then
they
Duke just
did.
played really well.
Yeah, I mean Yale was fun, but you knew Yale wasn't gonna like that was just a one-time thing.
Right.
Like
It's
Yale
always a
played really,
one-time thing in the Ivy League. They just got to win the first game, then they're like, "Then we proved ourselves. Nothing else
yeah,
to prove here.
I
We're
mean,
done."
Oakland took NC State to overtime. They should
Right.
have.
yeah. They kind of it that was one of my favorite games to watch because that was like total strategy. That was like Oakland, like all right, we need to defend the entry pass. They didn't want the big guy to get it like
Yeah.
towards the end of the game
But
because you
they're
knew the guy. You knew the guy was, and then he got a couple easy baskets. It's like, and that killed him.
dude, Oakland's coaching, their game plan, their players, like everything they did was so unique.
Yeah.
And it was so hard to guard.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. And I think it takes teams out of their game. It takes them off balance. Because you have this one dude running around trying to shoot a three from anywhere
Yeah.
on the planet.
But the strategy was for NC State is what they did. The game plan like he's not as good as if he dribbles.
Right.
So prevent him from just catching and shooting. Make him dribble, and then
he's
shoot.
still doing these like weird screen offs and hitting these. He still had 6 threes.
He still had 6 threes, and he's like, "Oh, he kind of had an off game." So what are you talking about? He holds the record now for first 2 games 3-pointers.
Yeah.
This dude, I don't even know his last name. Starts with a G.
Oh, yeah. But doesn't he have more
Golke?
3-pointers
It's
than he has
Golke.
2-pointers?
Is it Golke?
Golke.
Yeah,
No.
Golke.
Didn't he only shoot like 1 2-pointer the whole season?
No, it wasn't like that, but he had more 3-pointers than he had 2-pointers.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember him talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, he doesn't like to shoot anything but threes."
He's like you.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would do the same thing. That's my game plan, dude. But they executed it so well. If you watch both games they played and you watch the screens they're running, the plays, the action on the court, for him to just come out of nowhere, pop open, they give him the ball, and he just
Yeah,
Dude,
and NC State really, really tried hard to like get the guy because he do those weird screens and he just gets open and you can't help it. But they actually did a really good job at times.
Yeah, NC State's defense is tough. Their defense is tough. They got a solid defense.
But the Kentucky game, like, goal after the third or fourth, like he started talking trash. You could tell, like he started, and then he hit like that fifth one, and he pulled the Jordan. He's like, like that. I was like, dude. I was like,
well, when you're hitting like that, and dude, like if you watch that whole game, if you just watch the threes. So a highlight reel of just every three he hit in that game, you're just like, no way he's going to make that. No way he's going to make that. And he just keeps making them. So that was Oakland was fun to watch. A lot of fun. So let's get into Sweet 16. So that starts here in a couple days. They get a little bit of rest. Day one, the first game I think it's going to one of the more interesting games. San Diego State, UConn. I mean, obviously, matchup of last year, right? They both lost players, but here they're right back. You know, San Diego State fought their way back to a Sweet 16, which I think is great for them. Do they have a chance here?
I don't think so.
Derek says no.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see much of a different outcome. I think UConn, they're just I mean, they have better players. They're disciplined, and I think they've heard the talk about. They're kind of like not being talked about enough. They are the defending national champions. There's not been a back-to-back champion in years, and so I think they got a kind of the chip, and I think they're going to beat San Diego State like 10 probably.
Spread is 11. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be San Diego State's going to implode, but it's just.
Wouldn't that be fun though to watch San Diego State win that game?
Oh, it changes everything. It changes the whole tournament.
That destroys probably 80% of the brackets
that aren't destroyed already. The rest are gone.
Like, how many people have taken UConn to win it?
Right.
Like, I guess I'll take UConn. I'll take all number one seeds.
Hey, Shannon Sharp. Yeah. He's looking good right now.
He's looking good right now. Jeez. So day one, I think that's the most interesting game for me. Alabama, North Carolina. That could be closer. You know, so 1 versus a 4. They got a spread pretty low on that, but Alabama for me isn't consistent. So I think it comes down to how Alabama has to play consistent to be in the game. They could lose by 20, or it could be a close game.
Yeah, or it could be like 120 to 110.
Right.
But you can always say the same about UNC too. They're very up and down. You never know what you're going to get from them.
Well, you know you're getting from 2 of their players. The problem is you don't know what they're getting from the rest of them.
Right.
That's where if their help doesn't play well, they don't play well. But Baycott and what's his name? Ricky. His name. What's their point guard's name? Can't remember his name. But they're going to play well, right?
Yeah.
So who do you guys got there? Alabama, North Carolina. I got UNC in my bracket and in this game.
Yeah, I have UNC. I think I already had Alabama losing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, Baycock. I mean, Baycock's the key. Like he's just a presence in the middle. He does a lot of different things. He's really active. So, Davis,
that's his name.
RJ.
Yeah. RJ Davis. Correct.
And once he gets going, it's like he could put up 40 if he had to. I just think Alabama's got, is it Sears? I mean, he's kind of. I mean, if he gets going, they can make it interesting. I mean, it could go either way. I just think UNC just has a little bit more when it comes in the middle. You know, if they have to go inside, defensive presence. So I'm taking UNC.
Yeah, Bama's super talented, but like Steve said, I mean, they underachieve so much.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, yeah, I could easily see them like UNC winning by 20.
Well, their coach even kind of admittedly was like, we haven't played strong all year. Like we haven't congealed very well. We haven't been consistent. And that's not a good sign when you're playing in the tournament.
Well,
Let's see, Clemson, Arizona. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not an Arizona fan, and I didn't think they'd make it this far, even though they're a 2 seed. But they kind of proved me wrong there.
yeah, they
They
look
do.
pretty good.
Love, I think Love is just a game changer in the whole tournament. I mean, if he plays the way he's been playing, yeah, they get the Final Four. They could do damage with the Final Four. It's just I think they should beat Clemson, but Clemson's playing well. I didn't think they would play as well. You know, I'm still gonna take Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I Clemson just doesn't stick out enough for me. I mean, I would think Arizona's going to win this game as well. They're definitely the favorite. So I'm going with Arizona here, even though that's a killer to my bracket.
It already killed my bracket because I already had Clemson out. So yeah, I'm taking Arizona also. They just looked like they've looked better than I thought they were.
Right. They did. Yeah, definitely have looked a lot better. Let's see, last game of the day, Illinois and Iowa State. Interesting enough, this is a 2 and a 3 seed. I don't know. I mean, Iowa State, yeah, they had that big win against Houston, right? I mean, they're still, I guess 27-9 still a good record.
Yeah.
28-8.
Well,
They both
Wes
have
has
good
them in
records.
the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, West got Iowa State going. So obviously, Wes, you're probably picking Iowa State here at Illinois.
Well, but
uh,
Illinois looks good, and Illinois that's gonna be a tough game. I'm still gonna take Iowa State, but man, I didn't think Illinois was. You know, that's good. I think it's gonna be a good game.
well, it's the
I gotta take
closest
Iowa State.
spread of the day by far.
I can't
And it's
fail.
the closest spread overall in the
Right.
last game. So
That's the only
Uh,
Big Ten team left.
oh no, my champion's still left.
Oh God, that's right.
Purdue.
yeah, Purdue.
I always forget about Purdue.
I think I'm gonna go with Illinois on this one.
Yeah,
I think both teams have quite a bit of momentum. I just feel like Illinois might be a little more athletic. So I'm gonna take Illinois. And I'm gonna bust the rest of Wes's bracket.
Yeah, I've got Illinois also
Boo.
because Drake was supposed to be there, but they shot the bed. So I'm still taking Illinois.
Yeah, I think I had Drake as well. All right. Well, let's move to day two, Friday. Let's see. Most interesting game here. Geez, this is a good day. This is a real good day. So, I mean, let's start with Duke Houston. 1-4. Duke comes in at a 4, which doesn't happen a lot. Houston's a favorite here, but Duke's been playing pretty well. Houston obviously didn't finish the season super strong, but obviously 32-4 overall, still a pretty good record. So what do
Houston
you
didn't
guys
look good
think?
against Texas A&M.
What's that?
Houston didn't look that good against Texas A&M. So
Right.
I'm taking Duke here. Taking Blue Bloods. I watched the Christian Leitner documentary, so I'm going all Duke here on this one. Nostalgia. And it seems like Houston always gets this far, and then their defense, because that's all they got. Their offense always falters.
Right.
Yeah, there's that game where there's that game that they're not going to hit their shots. They're going to go on the dry spells
Right.
that they do, and they don't score for like 8 minutes. I don't. I just. I
This is
don't
a
think it's
tough one.
I think they get past Duke, but it's going to be close. I think they should get past Duke. I think they're going to implode down the line here, but not against Duke. I'm taking Houston.
I got to take Houston as well. The thing that worries me about Duke, and usually you never have to worry about this, but against a good defense, they don't have a lot of scoring.
They don't.
And I think Houston does have that advantage. So even if Houston can't score, I don't think Duke scores a lot either. At least against Houston. They can score a lot against other teams, but Houston's got too much defense, I think. So I'm gonna go Houston as well. Uh Creighton, Tennessee.
Oh.
Super disappointing because it should be Oregon, Tennessee. They just blew
Wow.
that game and
Wow.
busted my bracket.
But when you only
That's
have
the
two
real
players
reason.
that score, basically.
Yeah, but you still got a 4-point lead with under a minute left, and you just go and do two stupid plays. And
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
but I'll give this to Creighton. Creighton showed a lot of heart, and they showed why they're a 3 seed, and I think they showed how dangerous of a team that they really can be.
I mean, look at Ashcroft. Look at the way he played in the second half. I mean, that's just a little guy, dude. And you
He's
just
just out
look
there
at
hitting
him,
threes,
and you're
dude.
like, he shouldn't be out there. Like you should be back in high school or something, dude. And he just out and he ball.
Yeah. Well,
Then what's the tall one? Shireman?
Yeah, Shireman.
He was hitting threes.
He hit.
They were like leaving him wide open. He's like,
right.
fine.
He wasn't hitting threes early. They were not hitting. They were not shooting their threes. I think they were 8 for 29 at one point. But yeah, late in the game, Shireman. Then their center hit.
Even
that
the center hit a three,
they
dude.
let him open, and he drained a three. It's like, oh, this is not good.
Well, and their kind of their star player, he didn't play great neither game. The first 2 games he hasn't played great. So, if he plays well and then you get that kind of consistency from the other guards, like, the point guard and Shireman, whatever his name is,
Shireman.
I can't remember his name. I think it's Shireman.
It's Shireman.
Yeah. So, because the other guy, he drives a lot. He's more of a ball handler.
Is it Anderson?
I thought it was like Allen or something like that. What's his name?
I can't find it.
No, they were. Well, I watched the 2 games of him playing, but they also were like talking about him during the season. Green, is it Green? No.
I'll find it here in a second. It's not what I wanted.
Ashworth?
Oh, Ashworth is their point guard.
Oh, Alexander.
Green. It's Alexander Green.
No, it's Trey Alexander.
Trey Alexander, yeah.
Yeah, so because he averaged almost 18 points a game during the season. Shireman actually was their leading scorer.
Yeah.
But they had 4 guys in double figures. So it's a team effort from them, but Alexander didn't play particularly well in their first 2 games.
Green is the guy that I mean,
Oh, he
he
came
gets,
off the bench, was getting all those rebounds, dude.
yeah, yeah.
That's what killed Oregon's their first half. Oregon should have been leading the first half by 10 points, but
Oregon
so
was a
goes that
one-man
game.
team too.
Dude, they're fun to watch though. Uh, Tennessee did not look particularly good in their game because Texas in the Tennessee game looked horrible.
Yeah, but they kept it close and they came back on them.
Yeah,
It made it interesting, and Tennessee didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a very high scoring game, but
but even
Tennessee.
like, did you hear what's her name? Candace Parker. She was talking about it because she went to Tennessee. They're like trying to convince her to be happy, and she's like, I can't be happy about a game like that. They're like, you won, and she's like, yeah, but you can't play like that and win,
No,
you know, later in the tournament.
yeah, I expect them. They will probably play better against Creighton. I think they'll be ready for Creighton. And defensively, I think even though Creighton's my winner, like it's the same thing with Oregon. I was like, I don't know, I don't know if Creighton's going to beat Oregon. Same thing with Tennessee. Of course, I'm going to pick Creighton because I have to because I don't want any teams left. But when Creighton plays the way they should play, they're they're dangerous and they're hard to guard, and you don't know where because their big guy, he's got good footwork. He could shoot.
Right.
Everybody could shoot. They're starting five. It's just like they get on a roll. They start knocking down shots, and then they start actually playing basketball and running plays and getting guys. It's an interesting team to watch. Hard to
And
defend.
it's really hard to play defense
Yeah,
against them because they have so many shooters. I think it's going to cause a problem for Tennessee, to be honest with you. Uh, Tennessee, they've been relying a lot on Dalton Connect. And so if he has a game like he did last game, I don't think you can have that kind of game against Creighton.
no.
Creighton has too many shooters. So I'm gonna go with Creighton. I think Creighton wins this game.
Yeah, I got Creighton too because think about it, they've gotten how many days to actually figure out a way to beat Connect, right? So,
Yeah.
like we said, Creighton you don't know who's going to beat you,
Yeah,
but
and
Tennessee you do know, and so
they're
you can
gonna
game plan against that.
they're gonna mirror somewhat what Texas did. Texas was effective. They said, no, we're gonna take out Connect. We're gonna make everybody else beat them, and they did, but not by much.
Right.
No.
Well, but Tennessee, they probably also learn a lot from the Oregon game, and you're going to see Connect running a lot of pick and roll.
Yeah.
And they won't make the mistake not to slip the screen when they double team like Oregon did late in the game.
Mhm.
But that'll be a good game. I think that's one to watch. I think that'll be a fun game to
That's why they
watch.
probably have on last.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch.
The second day seems like better games than the
Oh,
first.
way better because now you got Gonzaga, Purdue.
That's gonna be interesting.
Real
Purdue all the
interesting,
way
right?
there.
I did not think Gonzaga would be here.
Dude, they destroyed Kansas. That was impressive.
Destroyed them, like embarrassed them.
Yeah.
That second half, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a team fall apart like that.
No. Well, their injuries mounted too.
Right. And Kansas even have their best player though.
That's a little bit of you could put a little asterisk by that is they just ran out of guys and Gonzaga when they click like that, yeah, they could beat anybody.
But you're Kansas, right? Like you're getting the best recruits, It's not like anybody on your team should be able to play. Like you're Kansas.
but even Gonzaga, even over the years, they've got more athletic.
No,
You know,
I mean, I'm not taking anything from Gonzaga in that sense, but what they score. I mean, it was like a 30-2 scoring run
it was
at
ridiculous.
one point. I was like, really?
Yeah. Purdue's a different beast, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like you want to think that Purdue, oh, they're not going to make it or this. They've made it this far, and they got the big man of all big men in the country, you know? And how does that translate with Gonzaga and their half court game? You know, it's going to
Well,
be interesting. It'll be a chess match.
Gonzaga has to speed it up, right? They
Yeah.
have to play a fast game.
Yeah. Which they can. They should. I mean, they like during the season they kind of get their half court game, but they can push it.
I don't know. How do they guard Edie though? I mean,
Well,
what do you do if you're Gonzaga? Because you just watched.
they'll go guard by committee. They'll just throw bodies at him. Zone, maybe you got to play a lot of zone.
Well, I know it doesn't
The
matter,
1-3-1 zone.
but they did play already this year.
Yeah.
And Purdue beat them, and Edie had 25 points, 14 rebounds.
Yeah. Well, when you look at Gonzaga's team, they're not built to guard Edie right now.
No, you're gonna give I mean, the thing is, it's kind of the opposite of what you're doing with, you know, he's gonna get his. That's all there's to it. You know, but you gotta those the kick out threes, you gotta prevent those. And you just have to outscore them. You got to run, like you said. You're not beating them in a half court game. You got to get up and down the floor. Make Edie get tired. Edie out.
Right.
Make him run.
Get him out of
That's
the game, make him
Yeah.
get subbed out.
Get
But
foul trouble.
because the other problem is, here's the other problem with Purdue or beating Purdue is that they have players who are really good at going to the basket. And when you have players that drive really well, you almost have to help on them. And now you could just throw the ball up in the air after you get, you draw a double team to the basket, and then Edie's there just to catch it and dunk it. If you miss your layup, even double coverage, he's getting the rebound. So I mean, that's a problem for Gonzaga as well. So I got to take Purdue here. I think Purdue. I don't want to say they win handily, but I got them by at least 10. Derek, you obviously probably got Purdue.
Yeah. I don't know if Gonzaga really has any center to guard Edie at all. So
No, I mean they do, but it's not like a traditional center like you would have, on other teams that you
you're going to
might
get
face.
open 3-point shooters because they're going to have to double him.
Right.
Unless they do zone, and even in zone, that's
the thing. In zone's even worse because if they break through the zone and they get someone going to the basket, now whoever would be blocking Edie out has to help, and he's just going to clean the glass. He may have 20 rebounds this game.
Yeah.
I just implore, because this is like the third year in a row that I've taken a team from the Big Ten who's had a dominant big man.
Yeah.
Who decided in the tournament we're not going to use the dominant big man. So Purdue, I implore you, get him the ball as much as possible.
Arthur Smith comes out of the stands and he's like, "I'll coach."
Yeah.
Let's give it to blah blah. The one that pissed me off so much was Illinois. Back when they had that one center, like he was not like he was big, but he was 6'9", 6'10", and he was dominant. But the freaking Jackson something kept shooting the ball, and I'm like, get the ball inside.
He was
Purdue
falling analytics.
Purdue could hurt themselves if they take too many outside shots.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what Gonzaga, they've been really good at getting people open and getting open shots. And there hasn't been, I think Mark Few was talking about this throughout the season. They're playing Gonzaga ball right now.
Yeah.
It's unselfish. It's run the offense till someone gets open. And if they're open, right?
Mhm.
They're shooting. It's not about who you want to get the ball to, like a lot of other teams, right? It's like we want to run the offense, we want to stay within our scheme, and if you're open, you shoot, and that's when Gonzaga's at their best.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm Purdue, man, I'm running zone
Oh,
defense.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely have to run a zone
Funnel
against them.
everyone into Edie and then let him block every
Yeah.
shot.
Well, make them beat you, in the lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And then Gonzaga's low post is Watson. They like to get the ball inside to him, but like I said, he's 6'8", and their
right.
tallest player is 6'10". Oh, it's Ben Gregg. So it's like, again, they got guys, but it's like it's gonna have to be like just throwing bodies at Edie. And on the offensive end, I like Nabhart. I think if they're going to have a chance, Nabhart is going to have to. He's scored a little bit less this year because he's been more of a facilitator. I think he has to go off and score if they're going to win this game. I'm going to pick Gonzaga because I think he's going to.
Oh,
I'm going to take
going
him.
with the Zags. I like
I
it.
think Nabhart is going to have one of those games where he just goes off.
So why are you trying to ruin my Easter, Wes?
You talking? Oh, that's right. It's Easter. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'll be in Vegas.
So the last game, NC State Marquette. That's the first game, actually, but it's the last one we're talking about. It's the first game of the day. Might be the most interesting game for me, especially. But I think here's what's weird about this game to me. This is, I think, as close as a 2-11 seed could be as far as how good I feel the teams are. I don't see Marquette as a 2 seed being that much better than NC State, and I don't see NC State coming in here and obviously walking over Marquette. It's just weird to see a 2-11 seed and be like, well, this is anybody's game.
Yeah, totally. I feel the same way. This is difficult to pick because Marquette is winning. They almost remind me of Houston in a sense where there's just something off about their offense at times.
Right.
It seems like they struggle. They're indecisive a lot what they want to do, and you're getting at the part of the tournament where you can't be indecisive, and I that could. I mean, NC State could win this game very easily.
I
Because
mean,
NC,
I hate to say this about Marquette, but because I love this part of basketball, but I think Marquette overpasses sometimes. They
yeah,
almost share the ball too much.
yeah,
Where I mean, and I think that's Shaka Smart. I think that's kind of his downfall as a coach.
yeah. It's like they're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're still a great team. That's the problem. They have a lot of good athletes.
Yeah, when they get running, that's it. Like if they get in transition, they're gonna take NC State apart. If they get out in the open floor, then I think they win. But if they're NC State's so hard to guard because they run that offense around DJ Burns, and it's like he's just such a beast, and he doesn't look like that. He can, it's like he's just wide. He's a wide
Dude,
load.
he's like old Anthony Mason, dude.
He is, and he
Because
starts going.
he passes the ball so well for his size and for his position.
Yeah,
That what are you gonna do?
yeah.
Like,
They're
how
just
do you guard him?
you just like Oakland tried to prevent that as entry passes to him. And
Right.
then when he went left, they tried to prevent him from going left when he was underneath the basket. It's like
Well, and the other thing, DJ Horn hasn't even been 100% even back into the ACC tournament, and
Yeah.
he's obviously feeling better now. And so if you get DJ Horn playing really well, and then Burns facilitating in the middle, that's tough because their
Yeah.
other guys play good defense and rebound.
Yeah. I'm gonna take NC State. I
I
think
mean,
it
I gotta
Horn.
roll with them. I need them. I need them. I gotta roll with them.
They've won this. They've gotten this far, and you start getting a little scary when you win an ACC tournament, and then you start winning in the tournament. You're
Right.
at the Sweet 16. They're at that point where it's like maybe they're just on a roll and they can't be stopped.
Right.
So why not take them?
They may get tired, right?
Okay.
It's a lot of games in a short period of time.
Well, I'm gonna be taking Marquette here because I
So
took
you're ruining
Marquette.
my Easter.
Yeah, because I took Marquette over a month ago. Remember when we were talking sleepers and who's going to
Yeah.
win the tournament? I said Marquette and Alabama. They're both still in it. But with Marquette, everyone was like, oh, well, Marquette, they lost a bunch of games at the end of the season. Their best player didn't play. Guess
Yeah.
what? He's back. They sat him, let him rest, got him healthy. And so I think, Marquette isn't, Marquette is in Oakland. They're going to have big people to be able to guard in the middle.
Well, I mean, dude, people have problems with Burns all year. It don't matter. He's in the ACC with these big centers on him. They still have problems with him.
Right.
The like I said, Marquette, talent wise, is probably top to bottom a much more talented team.
Yeah. It's just running the offense. See, is running the offense through Burns and then getting that collapse, and then they got to hit their shots.
Dude, he
And
makes such wild shots, dude. You see these like ugly hooks. I swear to God, if you went back and watched old Anthony Mason highlights and then watched Burns highlights, you'd be like, this is the same dude reincarnated. It's crazy to watch, but I mean, obviously Marquette could easily win this game. I just have to roll with NC State because otherwise my bracket's busted. But I think Marquette has a good chance. I do like their team. Like I said, if they get out, you're right. If they get out, they run, they play fast, they get NC State out of their half court offense. That creates a problem. So that's and then I mean, then you got your Elite Eight games Saturday, Sunday, right then. So that's another back to back. That might hurt teams moving on here, especially teams like NC State that played a lot of tournament games for their conference tournament, and that'll be rough. So we got some upsets this day, and we got some opposite picks. So I think Wes, you went Duke and
no,
Gonzaga
No, I
and
went
NC
Duke.
State.
no, Derek went Duke. I went Houston.
Oh, you went Houston. Derek went Duke.
I went Gonzaga and NC State.
And who you got, Creighton or Tennessee?
Creighton.
Creighton.
He has Creighton winning it all, Steve.
I have to.
Oh, you have Creighton winning it all? I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah.
I thought you had Iowa State.
That's
No,
who they're
they
playing.
play in the championship.
Okay. They're
playing the
wow. I
championship.
mean, that's very possible.
I
You're
don't
still
think
in
I. Oh, yeah. I know.
it. So what are our final fours? So
Boo.
let's revisit our final fours.
Oh gosh.
So all of America could the hear.
I only have Purdue and UConn left.
Jeez.
Where's mine here? There we go.
I had Kentucky and New Mexico.
Well, I know Oregon's out for me. Yeah, so I got NC State, North Carolina, UConn. So those are all three possible. But Oregon was the killer.
Yeah, that's very possible. You can get 3 of those teams in there.
Yeah.
Or in Oregon, that wasn't a bad pick. It's just that was just a bad draw. Like there's such a bad draw for them to play Creighton where they played Creighton.
Yeah.
That was just
That's why
Well,
the
I mean,
regular season matters.
yeah, they came in as 11 seed, that makes it tough on you because you're going to play
you're gonna play good 3.
higher quality teams there.
Yeah, I had New Mexico and Nebraska in my other 2 teams. Thanks, Steve. Nebraska.
Oof.
I could still win 6 of my 8 Sweet 16 games. So I'm not in that bad of shape, actually. We'll see. It's going to be a big weekend or a big pre-weekend. So, all right. Well, those are our picks.
I'd like to take this moment to talk about my yearly segment of why do I do the men's bracket when I'm so much better at the women's bracket?
Yeah, well, I like to hear this explanation.
In the men's bracket, I have 9 out of 16 teams remaining. The women's bracket, I have 13 out of 16 teams remaining, with all of my Elite Eight and all my Final Four still intact.
Wow.
After watching 0 women's basketball this year.
I mean, we could dig into that. It might play to the fact that it's more predictable.
It is. Not many there not wasn't I think my only losses were because I took upsets and they weren't upsets.
Right.
Let's see. So my losses are I got to go back here. So
Well, I feel like there's not as many upsets in
no,
the
there's not. I had so my losses for the round of 32 were I took Tennessee, who was a 6 seed, and they lost to the 3 seed NC State. Here was an upset. I took Ohio State and Duke beat them. Duke was a 7, Ohio State was a 2. And then my only other loss was I took Utah, who is a 5, and Gonzaga over Gonzaga, but Gonzaga won, who's a 4.
right.
But yes, so you have in Region 1, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, through the whole thing, right?
Region 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Region 2, 1, 2, 3, 5. And here we go. Region 3, 1, 3, 5, 7.
And that's as bad as it gets, right? The
Yes.
worst left remaining is a 1, 3, 5, and a 7.
Right. And out of all the games remaining, I picked. Oh, there's only 2 games where I took the lower seed remaining. That was I have Oregon State beating Notre Dame, a 3 over a 2, and LSU over UCLA, a 3 over a 2.
Right. Well, because Iowa and LSU have to play, right?
Yes, that's going to happen.
It has to happen. It's like
Yeah.
you have to get all of that national media
Well,
because that's why
if you watch,
and nobody cares about the rest of the tournament. Everybody just wants to see Iowa and LSU play.
and if you watch the Iowa game at all, they were getting so many calls. It was
Right.
ridiculous.
But that's got to happen at some point to maximize your viewership.
Yeah.
That's pretty good though. I
I'm-
mean, but honestly, if you just pick the best team every time, you'd be in good shape.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just go with the higher seed, right?
But I kind of feel like in ours, in men's this year, you could have almost done that and still pretty good shape still.
Yeah, no, because we just talked about that, right? 11 was the highest seed still remaining.
All ones are still
All the
around.
ones are still there, which is rare.
Are all 2 still around too?
No, 1-2 lost, right? To Yale. Didn't Yale beat the 2 seed?
Was that the 2 seed?
That was a 15-2.
There's
Maybe
a
it
3.
was. Oh, it was 14-3.
Auburn was 3. It's 14-3.
Is that who Yale beat? Auburn?
Yeah, they beat Auburn.
Yeah,
I
so you
remember
got
watching the end of that game too.
yeah, so what? We got in the Sweet 16, you've got a 1-2-3-5, a 1-2-4-6, a 1-2-4-11, and a 1-2-3-5.
Yeah, you'd be in good shape right now if you just went with the top seeds. That's not
Yes.
good.
There's years where it's crazy like last year, and then it's a little crazy this year, but not as like it was last year.
Well, the first round was a little crazy, right? The
Yeah.
second round returned to normal.
Yeah.
That happens, and that's kind of mostly every year.
Yeah.
You have most of your upsets are in the first 2 days, and then it comes to yeah. So I'm 9 out of 16. If I would have just gone status quo, I would have been 12 out of 16.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I did the same thing with New Mexico and Oregon. I'd have 16 out of 16 teams playing almost. It's like those two teams really killed me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe not that high, but it would have been a lot better shape if I would have went with the higher seeds. All right. Well, by popular demand, we're gonna finish up with our top 5 wedding reception songs.
Oh,
What's this like? What? I didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the memo here. What's going on here, Dad?
So
didn't read your
Getting
text.
married.
Holly requested that we do a top 5
gosh.
wedding reception songs. So Wes didn't get the memo, but you can look it up while we're giving ours, Wes, or you can chime in on ours. I'm a more traditional type of reception guy. Maybe you'd call it old school. So I do tend to like some of the older songs.
I went mostly with dance.
Right,
Party
like
song.
that's the idea is you got to get somebody out on the dance floor, right?
Yeah.
So my list was kind of hard to order, but I think my number 5, I'll start with ABBA with Dancing Queen. I mean, it's an old enough song that everybody could dance to it. It's got enough music to keep people moving, very recognizable. So I think that's a good one to get people out on the floor.
My number 5 is kind of out of the box, but I'm going Lionel Richie Dancing on the Ceiling.
Nice. I mean, Lionel Richie, nothing wrong with that. It may not be traditional. I can't say I've heard that at a lot of weddings,
All right.
but still
The
good.
party to get everyone dancing.
That's right. That's the idea. Let's see. So this is where I had kind of a hard time ordering them. So take these as, I could see all these going. But you can't have a wedding without shout. I mean, and that's the Isley Brothers shout, right? Not the Tears for Fears shout. Uh, and it was in wedding singers, and it's like that's the cool part of wedding singers or wedding not singers, wedding crashers when they're they're doing the shout. So I feel like that's a good one to get people out, get people excited, at least even in your seats, like, you're digging it when shout comes on.
It is. Yeah. Oh no.
I don't know. Are you going to go Isley Brothers shout or are you going to go Otis Day and the Knights shout?
Oh, I mean, I think either one you're good. Um, I think the Otis Day's a little newer, right?
No, that's Animal House.
Well, Isley Brothers is super old.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think they're the same. Like, I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference when you play them.
Right.
As long as it's not Tears for Fears shout, you're good.
Why
That's what I'm
not?
saying.
You let it all out.
Depeche Mode.
These are the things that we come
Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode. There we go.
talking to you.
What Depeche Mode song are you gonna play at the wedding?
Reach out and touch faith.
Yeah. There you go.
Wes, do you have Little Runaway on your list?
That's what I was gonna put that up there. Little Runaway. She's a little runaway. We're gonna
Yeah.
have Dustin sing it.
Oh man. All right, Derek, what do you got it for?
Oh, I got Young MC's Bust a Move.
Bust
Oh,
a
yeah.
Move. Nice.
Dude, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, because the thing is it's got enough like R&B to it or soul that you're gonna have a lot of people up there busting a lot of bad moves. And so it's been
Yep.
fun to watch, right?
Uh,
Because like it's not really like one of those songs you can get up and you're gonna really dance to normal, like or R&B
Right.
dance, but you get up there, bust a move, you never know what people are gonna throw on.
Exactly.
You might see the sprinkler, like I mean,
The robot coming
the,
out, Roger Rabbit.
the Roger. So that's a good one. I like that. I like that. Mine's similar type of song for number three. It's but it's a little different in how it comes off. But it's Now That We Found Love by Heavy D.
yeah.
Because it's got that like, you know, it's if you just read the name of the song, you'd think it's different than what it is, what it sounds like, you know. It's got good rhythm to it. That's one I think gets people moving. All right, what do you got at three there, Derek? Wes, you researching?
I was forming.
All right.
I got some.
I think I'm gonna go with three as I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston.
Oh, you took mine. That's mine. I want
That was definitely easily on the list. Could have been top five.
yeah. And
Yeah, I
then
put that one up there.
I got Baby Got Back, number 4.
Nice.
Dude, come on. That gets the girls out.
Yeah.
It's just like whoosh.
Yep. Yep. And
grandmas will be out there.
Especially the age group that we're gonna have.
Yeah.
That will definitely get them out on the dance floor.
It will.
Because that's definitely the older demographic will get into that song. So that's good. You got another one, Wes? Besides,
number 3 is Sweet Caroline. Neil
oh
Diamond.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So that was my last one off the list. Because that's another one, dude. It's like it's not like the best. Like you're not gonna go out and regularly dance to that song, right? You're just gonna be out there and everybody's been yelling "Sweet Caroline." Da, 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 da. That's and nobody's really going to be dancing, but they're kind of going to be moving. Like that's kind of how that song plays out every time.
People
Just
are
a lot of yelling.
Yelling.
A lot of yelling. So good. So good. What do you got at 2, Derek?
I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. Tonight's gonna be a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like that one. That wasn't as close up to the top, but it was. I definitely looked at that one. My two is really unique. Most people don't even know this song, but it's "Lucky" by Jason Mraz. If you haven't heard that, it's one where you can kind of just regular dance to. You don't need to be busting any moves. And it's more like you grab a partner and just kind of move around the
Darcy Go.
floor. So it's more traditional, but it's really good song. Let's see, Wes, what do you got it to? The Humpty Hump.
Dude, there was a song like that. I'm trying to remember. It's like
How about Vanilla Ice, right?
Vanilla Ice.
No, that's number one, Derek. Damn,
You ruined
it's
it.
got to be number one for Steve. It's
Well,
number
no,
one.
you won't be playing it. I'll be singing it.
That's what I'm saying. It's that I got some Justin Timberlake. I got Sexy Back at number two.
Not what's the other one? Can't stop the feeling.
Oh, Can't Stop the Feeling. I didn't even see that on her.
That's a Timberlake, isn't it?
That's a good one too.
Yeah. That was in one of when I looked at like the top,
Yeah.
it was one of like the top 10.
Yeah, it is because it's a younger demographic thing. It was huge in like Trolls, the movie, and
Brooklyn will be out on the dance floor for that.
right. uh, so what was that your two? That was your two, Wes. Derek, you gave your two. All right,
Yeah.
number one. What do you got, Derek?
There's only one song that could be number one. Shots by LMFAO Little John.
Oh, it's a bad song. It's such a bad song.
That's so bad.
It's so bad, dude.
He's like prepping you up for like this real like awesome great all-time singer, and he's like shots.
The best part, that's the end of the night party song to keep people going.
Right.
Or take everybody out.
Take everybody out. Either you keep going or you're going to bed.
Hey, Caitlin, get out here. Let's do it.
And
We
Wes,
played
you're
it at
going
my
Vanilla
wedding.
Ice.
It got people out.
Oh God.
Is that what we're to assume, Wes, that you're going Vanilla Ice number one?
Vanilla Ice, dude.
Well, I figured this would be more Derek's style, but I gotta have Frank. The way you look tonight, I mean, if you don't love that song, anybody can dance to that song, right? You just grab someone, you move around the stage like you can pretend like you know how to do some type of ballroom dance.
That
You
was
don't
in
have
my
to know.
honorable mention.
Yeah. So I gotta put good old Sinatra in there. All right. Well, break me down to your list again, Derek. Top five.
Oh, I don't even remember. Dancing on the Ceiling, Bust a Move, Want to Dance with Somebody, I Got a Feeling, and Shots. He's got to write all these down so he can give them to
Bust a Move. Well, then otherwise I have to like go back and
right. Also, an honorable mention one I had was You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates.
Oh yeah. I had that one. Not had it, but I looked at it. I only got to dances on the ceiling. Bust a Move.
Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston.
Oh yeah.
I Got a Feeling, Black Eyed Peas.
And what was the fourth
Shots.
one? Shot. Oh, of course. All right, Wes, what were yours? Let's see.
I Want to Dance is 5. Somebody. Number 4 is Baby Got Back. Number 3 is Sweet Caroline.
Baby got back.
Number 2 is Can't Stop the Justin Timberlake that used Can't Stop the Feeling. Is that what it's called? And then number 1 is Vanilla Ice. Ice Ice Baby.
Is it Ice Ice Baby or is it Ninja Rap?
Right. Or Stop That Train.
Yeah. Cold as ice.
Dude, when you had the cassette tape, like you knew all the songs, you know.
Celebrate his entire collection.
I celebrate his entire collection.
The Bobby Brown, me and Dustin listened to, like going to like Arizona from here. We melted the tape. We listened to it. Like, you know that with every little step by tape.
Yeah.
In Dustin's favorite song, My Prerogative.
Oh yeah,
Like,
dude.
we
Oh my gosh.
melted that tape.
Dude, everybody had that tape.
Yeah.
A tender brony is a brony that you like, right?
Yeah. No.
Everybody had that tape,
Mhm.
man.
I still got it somewhere, I think.
Yeah. But all right, well, that's the wrap up top 5. Got a lot of good basketball games coming up. And I don't know about you guys, but I just want it all to be over and I want to get to the draft.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about that today. I was like, I'm ready for the draft. I'm sick of
I
the
am,
talk.
man.
I'm so sick of the talk.
I'm tired of the talking heads and like the speculation and just like we were talking about earlier, like going back and breaking down quarterbacks or like, you know, trying to push them further down or up and just different things, you know. It's
Well,
getting old.
the thing is for you, Steve, at least, you know you're getting Caleb Williams.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't- So you're like, okay, I know what we're doing at 1. And whatever we get in the rest in the other pick is gravy, whatever it is. Like for the Raiders,
it's true.
For the Raiders, it's like, okay, are you gonna trade up? Are you gonna reach for a quarterback at 13? Or are you gonna take another player and then I gotta be stressed out wondering if you get someone in the second round?
Right. Or how your season's going to play out with O'Connell or Minshew.
Yes.
Oh God.
You know, it's that's a little frustrating too. That's very stressful because it's like then what happens ultimately is somebody else trades up into the spot that you wanted to trade up into.
That's why if like you want Penix, you have to take him at 13.
Yeah.
Even if it's an overdraft, you have to take him at 13 because you don't know if some other team's going to take him at 15 or 6. You know what I mean? You can't guarantee.
The Saints could say, you know what, we're going to need a quarterback anyways. We might as well get Penix now. That can happen. You almost have to take him at 13. If that's, you know,
what's Seattle's pick?
Fifth.
Are they
Isn't it
15?
around 14?
I mean,
14.
if he's there, they definitely take him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Seattle's got to have a quarterback, right? Because Gino, he's in his last year, maybe like 2 most. Like he's lucky.
Sam Howell.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a guy you want to rest your future on. It's like Drew Lock.
Let's see here. It's Seattle's at 16 and the
Okay,
Saints are
so-
at 14.
Yeah.
So you're still ahead of that for sure. Then, yeah, we'll see. But I don't know, man. I want to get there. I'm really interested to see how some of the other positions play out too, though, right? Like how far back some of these guys fall, or a team saying, you know what, if you guys are going to go quarterback heavy, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to grab defense, you know, and trade up, maybe get some top defensive players.
Oh yeah, you're looking, and I hate this, but you could see the Chargers with the number 1 pick because 4 quarterbacks could go in the top 4.
Right.
And then
That's
the
what I mean.
Chargers will have their choice of, hey, great. Herbert gets Marvin Harrison Jr. Or they give him alt. You know what I mean? It's like,
The Chargers are going to come out good anyway because they
right.
have an established quarterback.
Right. So yeah, and so that I guarantee they're going either. You would think they're going either Harrison Jr. or Neighbors.
Yeah. Or, I mean, and Dunze's been thrown around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be disappointed, to be honest with you, with any of those three.
Right.
You give me any one of those three, and I'd be happy.
So Steve, let's say Adunze is still available at 9. Do you take him or do you take best defensive player available?
That's a tough one. I mean, they may even go tackle, depending on what's available.
Right.
Defense is pretty solid. I think you got to get if Ndunze is available. I think you got to take him.
Really, even if Dallas Turner is available.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one because that's good. That helps him sweat a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about that. Like last year, what did the Texans do? They got their quarterback and their edge.
Yeah,
You could get your quarterback and your second edge.
second edge, right, right.
Go
And you already
already
have
with
Keenan Allen, right? But
and DJ Moore and Keenan Allen.
yeah, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because Eberflus and obviously Poles, they're both wanted to stack the defense, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. But
Because
I also want if we already got rid of Justin Fields. You've already pretty much committed to sinking the number one pick into Caleb Williams. I want to give as much help as possible.
right.
And a tackle or another good receiver can help that a lot.
Right.
Or
But
maybe Brock Bowers.
yeah. Well,
Run
to
a
be
two
fair
tight end.
though, you could get a good receiver still in the second round.
Yeah, there are other good receivers out there.
I mean, you can get Franklin or Polk.
I saw one where they grabbed
or
Keenan Coleman or
Keon
Keon
Coleman.
Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, late
Yeah,
early in
because
the
like
first or second.
McConkey's supposed to be a first rounder now.
Yeah. So well, yeah, I can't wait for it. So we'll get to that. All right,
I've
let's
seen
wrap
some
it
where
up.
Thomas goes in the top 10.
Right.
The 4 receivers go in the top 10. That's crazy.
Nuts. That would be rare. That would be probably your most rare.
You imagine it would be like the top 10 is like 4 quarterbacks, 4 receivers, 2 tackles.
Yeah. All 10. All 10 offensive linemen. It's possible.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for
Gotta get
listening.
going with past Wes's bedtime now.
Yeah. Everybody out there listening, appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and send any comments, especially our Spotify users. Appreciate everybody. And we will see you next time.